And good evening, I'm Christopher Brantley. Thank you so much for joining us. Overdoses are back on the rise in Sarasota and Manatee counties. The cause, according to local law enforcement, is the reappearance of synthetic heroin, a mix of the drug and other prescription opioids. ABC 7's Adam Cellini has the story.
Well, Christopher, Sarasota sheriffs say the average has been nearly 1 overdose per day through July. Law enforcement in both counties are alerting residents to the issue.
Heroin addiction is on the rise here on the Suncoast.
The Sarasota Sheriff's Office put out this video last August encouraging people to call for help if they spot an overdose. It was a response to a summer spike in overdoses on the Suncoast, and now history appears to be repeating itself.
In the month of July alone, we've seen 14 overdoses here locally. In addition to that, 2 overdoses that have been fatal. It's a real problem here on the Suncoast.
The bigger concern is what deputies are finding mixed with this heroin. Fentanyl, which was responsible for record overdose numbers last year, but also carfentanil, another powerful prescription opioid.
Some of the heroin that we have seized, there has been no natural ingredients of heroin in it. It has been just that fentanyl, almost 100%, which means, again, they're putting this in their body and it can be fatal within a couple minutes.
Jessica Zielman recently enrolled in the Sarasota rehab facility Prodigal Daughters, just weeks after she experienced multiple overdoses from synthetic heroin.
I was within seconds out. I couldn't breathe one time, and I woke up and I was choking over like almost 2 hours.
Zielman was at a community workshop in Bradenton on Saturday where locals got an update from Manatee County sheriffs who are dealing with dozens of recent overdoses of their own. The community anti-drug group who organized the meeting is appalled by the numbers.
It's still full on in Manatee, but it was a shock to see it just going everywhere.
And they say from what we learned last year, these overdoses are rarely enough to break the habit.
There's always going to be an addiction. There's always going to be that disease. We're trying to let them know, like, we're here for them, whichever manner they need.
Law enforcement wants to remind people they are protected from any charges under Samaritan law if they call in an overdose, because the first goal remains saving that life. Back to you.
All right, Adam, thank you. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office has identified the body found behind a dumpster in a Lakewood Ranch Church parking lot. The Sheriff's Office reports the body found is 58-year-old Ted Lee from Fort Myers. Lee was last seen Thursday night, and his body was found on Friday near a dumpster at Our Lady of the Angels Church off State Road 70. Detectives are working with the Lee County Sheriff's Office because it appears the victim was killed in Lee County. Detectives are searching for Lee's silver Toyota Corolla and 3 persons of interest. Detectives believe Jonathan Ruffini, Leviah May, and Tyson Hunter may have information about Lee's death. And the Manatee County Sheriff's Office says IMG Academy in Bradenton was on lockdown this evening because of a bomb threat. Deputies responding to the campus found no evidence of an explosive device. No word on whether the lockdown has been lifted at this time. And a boy killed last weekend in a boating accident was laid to rest today. Family and friends of 7-year-old Cash Fox said their final goodbyes today at the Bayside Community Church off Bee Ridge Road. Guests were told not to wear black, but instead wear casual fishing-style attire. Cash died last Saturday while out boating with his family. He fell overboard into the waters off Stump Pass and was injured by the boat's propeller. Cash was taken to Inglewood Community Hospital, where he later died. A woman had a big surprise late last night. An SUV crashed into her home. Mary Lou Nicolny was inside her home on Kai Drive in Sarasota when an SUV driven by Ryan Gherkin crashed through an exterior wall of the home. Deputies arrived on the scene and say Gherkin was uncooperative. Deputies had to use a taser on Gherkin after chasing him on foot.
And I saw the look in his eyes, and I knew that there was some trouble. And we left and went and hid on the next house over. And he proceeded to keep bashing the house until he got to the back wall and his car stopped.
Nicolini was uninjured and Gherkin was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital with minor injuries. Gherkin has been charged with leaving the scene of an accident with property damage, among other charges. And Cardinal Mooney High School has a new principal for the upcoming school year. Timothy Galick joins the Catholic school on Fruitville Road from the Holy Family Catholic High School in Colorado, where he's credited with helping boost enrollment. Galick is a graduate from the University of Scranton and Rutgers University. In a statement, Galick said he is honored to join Cardinal Mooney and the Diocese of Venice. And now let's go to Wendy Ross for a first check on our weather. Wendy, good evening.
Hello, Christopher, and things have really died down. We had some tremendous thunderstorms earlier this afternoon, producing a great deal of rainfall. And right now what we're looking at are those showers have really diminished, and we are seeing most of the rain continuing on towards the northwest at this hour. As you can see along the coastline, we haven't had a great deal of activity, and most of the showers that we are seeing right now are on the light side. Some heavier rains have been dying down as they continue to progress on towards the northwest. But it was quite an afternoon with plenty of thunderstorms taking place, especially around the Arcadia area. We had lightning strikes that were just everywhere, falling out of the sky in seconds. We saw some of these thunderstorms moving on through. 77 degrees for us right now. Our humidity at 76%, and the winds, they're calm right now out of the east around 3 miles per hour. Around the airport, it's a starry night, and we'll let you know what we're shaping up to be like for tomorrow. That forecast coming up in a few minutes, Christopher.
All right, Wendy, thank you so much. The number of cases of the Zika virus in Florida grew by 18 this week, including the second ever here on the Suncoast. That means Manatee County is now under a public state of health emergency. ABC 7's Ray Collin tells us how this will impact locals and visitors.
State health officials won't say who got the Zika virus in Manatee County, but they will say, like all the cases so far, it's a traveler's case, meaning it happened someplace else and brought back to this country.
It's like South America or some parts of Africa.
Dr. Chris Galvin is a Sarasota physician. He says mosquitoes haven't passed on the virus yet in this country, but people can.
So people that come back from an area with Zika virus, they can spread it sexually. So probably the more important thing is sexual precaution.
And Galvin says some people who have the virus might not even know it.
Most cases are self-limited, which means they get better on their own. Most cases are mild. And again, some cases don't have any symptoms at all.
My job is to keep the 20 million people that live in our state safe, the over 100 million people that come here as tourists safe.
Last month, Governor Rick Scott announced he'll use his executive authority to allocate $26 million in state funds for preparedness, prevention, and response.
But it's a big issue.
And area Congressman Vern Buchanan's taking this very seriously. In fact, he was so furious at his colleagues for adjourning without funding Zika, he called it a national disgrace.
If it ever became a huge issue, just think about what it would do to our community in general, the citizens here, and then think about how that plays out in terms of one of our biggest industry, tourism.
Meantime, Dr. Galvin says he hasn't had a lot of questions yet about Zika from his patients. However,
it's coming, though.
Ray Collins, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Ray Collins for us tonight. Ray, thank you. Manatee High School is honoring the victims of the Orlando mass shooting. Today, student council members hosted a blood drive as a memorial for all the victims and lives lost in last month's shooting. Dozens of students and teachers donated blood today to show support. Members of the student council did their part by collecting donations to benefit the families of the victims.
And since we heard about this tragedy, we said, let's do something to help out. So we got all the kids involved and got the blood drive here.
All the blood is being donated, not given to the Orlando shooting, but in memorial of it.
The minimum age to donate blood is 16 years old, but those too young to donate still played a major part by helping collect donations. And dozens of women divers hit the water off Siesta Key Beach to do a good deed today. They were participating in Women's Dive Day, a worldwide event meant to promote awareness of women in diving. The Southwest Florida Women's Dive Club decided to take it a step forward. The women went into the water with their scuba gear to clean up the Gulf. They say they were inspired after seeing so many people on the beach making a mess on July 4th.
Unfortunately, we find everything from plastic bottles seem to be the biggest problem under the water, and a lot of the plastic from the cans we find under the water as well. We find a lot of string that's left from fishing, and that's tied around shells and sea life.
The divers held their cleanup within the boundaries of the swimming area on Siesta Beach. There were also scuba diving lessons available for women and girls ages 10 and up. And from cleaning the beach to cleaning neighborhoods, today was the cleanup for the Pinecraft, Sarasota Springs, and Southgate communities. Residents were able to discard household items, yard waste, junk, and other garbage. Free dumpsters were available to remove it all. The main cleanup locations were the Bay Vista Mennonite Church, Southgate Community Center, and Southside Christian Church.
It's whatever people have on their property that may be junk, that may be the old lawn chairs, the trash, whatever it is, and yard waste, the limbs, the bushes, whatever they've cut up. It's for them to bring it, and they can do it for free.
We cleaned out our pantry, just things that you don't normally do throughout the year. It's a chance to just purge it all.
The cleanup was the 9th this year. They still have a few more to go for a total of 11 community cleanups in Sarasota County this year. And sticking with our theme of helping the environment, the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Sarasota played host to the eco-friendly Florida Fest. It was a one-stop shop for homeopathic remedies, organic farming, and healthy living. Kids learned how to recycle and taught their parents to buy products that can decrease their carbon footprint.
This is really a great event that is focused on creating awareness on environmental health. It's really comprehensive to show that environmental health really is everything in your day.
The multi-day event wraps up tomorrow. And still to come here on ABC7, Donald Trump formally introduces his running mate. Why Trump originally delayed the big announcement.
This is the last will of Seth Morarji Das. I, Morarji Das, of sound mind and body, leave all my property, money and jewellery to Kantabai.
हे भगवान
Congratulations, Kantabai. What's up? She deserves it.
Cobra, so smooth, and nothing goes down well.
Hello, son. How's it going, sir? Good. Honey, he's here. You want a Dr. Pepper?
No, thank you.
Come on, what's the worst that can happen, huh?
All right.
You like sports, son?
Sure.
You like wrestling?
Yeah.
Come on, fight for it. Oh, only kidding, son. Oh, here we go. Who's the dad, huh? Who's the
How are my favorite fellas getting along?
Now get a free random ringtone with every promotional pack of Dr. Pepper. Could be good, could be embarrassing. What's the worst that could happen?
Burn Energy Drink, now extra potent.
It's gonna get hot today. Grab an ice cold sun drop and show us how you drop it.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
And drop it.
Cause I got it going on. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
A thirst-quenching citrus soda just dropped coast to coast. Sun drop.
That's how you drop it. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like
Just 1 calorie. Tap Cola. What a beautiful drink. Tap Cola. For beautiful people. Tap Cola. It's beautiful.
Back now, Turkey is asking the U.S. to extradite a Muslim cleric it blames for last night's failed military coup. Fethullah Gulen lives in this religious retreat center in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan demanded his arrest or extradition this morning. The cleric is an Erdogan rival who leads a Turkish populist movement, but Gulen says he's been out of the country for 16 years and has nothing to do with the coup. Officials say more than 160 people were killed in fighting last night, and thousands of military officers were later arrested. And tonight, countdown to Cleveland as the Republican Party prepares for its national close-up. The GOP presidential convention gets underway Monday, and it could be the most controversial in years. Outside protesters are promising they'll be heard, while inside, some Republicans would still like to stop Donald Trump from claiming the nomination. Today, Trump officially completed the GOP ticket, introducing Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his running mate. A celebratory homecoming in Indiana for Governor Mike Pence.
I'm here to announce that today in New York City, I accepted Donald Trump's invitation to run and serve as Vice President of the United States of America.
Pence by Trump's side earlier in New York as the presumptive Republican nominee announced his running mate, insisting he never wavered in his decision.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence was my first choice. Now, I think if you look at one of the big reasons that I chose Mike, and one of the reasons is party unity, I have to be honest.
Unity, a major focus as 50,000 people travel to Cleveland for the Republican National Convention.
It ends once and for all the possibility that you would have an anti-Trump rebellion here at the convention.
Call it what it is. Murder!
Outside of the convention hall, peaceful protests already blocking off streets. Demonstrators promising a much larger showing once the convention begins.
We expect thousands of people from around the country will be coming here to express their anger with the bigot Trump.
And a reminder, ABC 7 will have special coverage of both the Republican and Democratic national conventions. ABC 7's Ray Collins and Alan Cohn will be in Cleveland next week for the Republican National Convention. Then the following week, it's the Democratic National Convention. Alan Cohn, Adam Cellini, and Haley Wilgus will be in Philadelphia to bring you all of the latest developments. And back here in Florida, more manatee deaths in the Indian River Lagoon has researchers stumped. At least 9 manatees have died since May from a microalgae bloom. It's being called a syndrome and is leading to a change in diet. Many manatees are eating seaweed instead of seagrass. And that what really confuses the researchers is not all of the manatees who've eaten the seaweed have been affected. Since 2012, more than 100 manatees have died in the Melbourne area because of this syndrome.
Oh, wow.
It's a shame.
Yes, and that's always painful. This is such a treasured mammal in our area, so we don't want to see anything.
We have an entire county named after one.
I know, I know. And of course, we always have Snooty that we just love.
Oh, we love Snooty.
And Snooty's having birthdays. Every time I turn around, he's got a birthday
He's
next
got a birthday
weekend,
next weekend, doesn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
next weekend. So that's a good thing. And we are looking at those thunderstorms that showed up this afternoon. And this is Florida. This is summer. We're supposed to get this kind of weather, and that's exactly what we had. Were thunderstorms that developed around the Arcadia area and then moved off towards the northwest. Parts of Charlotte County also having seen some very heavy rains that came on through there earlier this afternoon, and things have really died down now. You can see most of those showers having tapered off and not much developing along the coastline. We had some lighter rains that came on through, not so much in the way of thunderstorms, and right now you can see this band of rain, showers and thunderstorms lined up just off the coastline. So if you're looking out towards the west, you can actually see some of the thunderstorms out there. But right here on land, things have quieted down, and now we're left with just a couple of scattered light rains taking place across the region. But boy, oh boy, those thunderstorms really left quite a bit of rainfall behind. And you can see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain across parts of our viewing area, with much lighter amounts taking place in the light blue areas, and then those heavy rains in the green areas. So it's been one of those spotty kinds of experiences, and we're going to see the same thing developing once again tomorrow, with the showers happening over the central part of the state and then moving off towards the northwest during the afternoon and evening hours. So we'll see the same things tomorrow, and right now we're looking at some light rains that are just now beginning to die out. At the airport, it's beautiful. We have starry skies, 77 degrees, our humidity at 76%, and the winds are coming in out of the east at around 3 miles per hour. As you can see, temperatures all around the state are in the 70s and 80s, and for our viewing area, we're also looking at temperatures mostly in the 70s. We have 74 degrees in Northport and Punta Gorda. Those are some of the cooler locations right now. Still 80 degrees in Anna Maria Island, and the rest of us in the upper 70s. And of course, the heat index is not quite so severe at this hour of the day, with those temperatures still registering in the upper 70s and 80s at this point. That high pressure system, having moved out into the Atlantic, is helping to bring about those southeasterly winds. That helps to create those showers along the east coast, and then they move over towards the west coast during the afternoon hours. Again, tomorrow we'll see the afternoon and evening thunderstorms taking place. We have some of those will be strong, and we're also expecting to see those showers moving from the east to the west, just as they did today. And this is what it looks like for the rest of this weekend. We'll see a temperature high tomorrow of about 92 degrees with a 40% chance of rain all the way through Tuesday. We up those chances on Wednesday to a 50% chance. Christopher?
Sounds like Florida. Wendy, thank you so much. Sports is next. We'll be right back.